What's up, everybody? This is Alex of Consume here, and today we're going to be taking a look at a new font I have created called Slam Gothic, and just a quick peek at the sort of things you could do with it. Here you can see the font kind of laid out in my default application. We're just going to dive right in and take a look at what we can get out of this font. So in Photoshop, I'm just going to pull up the font and write out the title for something I'm actually going to use on my site to promote it. Here you can see a little bit of the letter forms. So I'm going to go ahead and start typing out some of the letters. There are both uppercase and lowercase versions of everything. You can tell right away that there is sort of a loose kerning to this font, and that's because the way I created it, it's intended to be manipulated. It's not supposed to be something that just works right out of the box, but something that you could tinker with, something you could mess around with and create something original with. So I'm going to set all my settings back to default, and then once I have all my text laid out, I'm going to rasterize the text layer and just start working things into place using just a regular lasso tool. Now this is meant to be lightning quick. This is an incredibly fast project. I get some really good results just using maybe 15 minutes. And I'm going to bring it all in together. I'm going to size this down just a little bit. And bring the remaining letters in together. Make sure they're loosely aligned with the other side. I'm going to use a quick transformation to have them ramp up the way that it is on the other side. Now to get some symmetry going, I'm going to just duplicate the S and flip it and pull it back in. Select all, transform, right click, flip horizontal. Now I'm going to bring it in, merge it down. I'm going to select all and center it. I'm gonna put this S back on its own layer and only use it as a reference. I'll bring the opacity down, bring the C back in, make sure that it's aligned. And now I'm gonna delete my extra layer with the S and merge everything down. Now that I have a rough shape, I'm just gonna draw some really rough branches. Kind of create a cool looking Slam logo feel. Now this is on a new layer and it's only for reference, like I said. Might extend this out a little bit. Now I'm just going to duplicate this and flip it to the other side to see if it's something that I'm going to like. And for now it looks good enough. Now I'm going to turn the opacity down and use this as a reference. I'm going to select the polygonal lasso tool and just outline what I created. Throwing in a couple of little flourishes here and there. I'll close off that selection and fill it with white. And I'm going to do the same for all the other branches. Making a couple of quick little adjustments. There's no real set rules here, just keeping it fast, keeping it loose. Editing on the fly. Now that it's finished, I'm going to duplicate it and flip it to the other side. Now there are some parts that don't line up perfectly. I'm just going to draw in a rough connection. And now I'm going to start erasing details to create some 3D overlay effects. Do it on the other side. Now I'm just gonna use some transformation tools to give it a little bit more of an original shape. That's starting to look pretty good, so I'm gonna go ahead from here and create some dripping and web effects, kind of flesh out the whole design. And now for some webbing effects. And here I'm just going to flip the logo and continue the webbing. And now I'm just going to add some quick layer styles to give it a little bit of extra flair. I'm going to create an outside stroke by using layer styles. Select 2 strokes, add them both to outside, and make sure that the bottom one is bigger than the top one. Set the first one to black, the second one to white. Now I'm going to right-click the effects and click Create Layers. I'm going to load the selection of the black stroke and select the white stroke and delete all the loaded selections, so now I'm left with just this. Now I'm going to use a regular lasso tool and an eraser to get rid of all these details inside. You can kind of see what's happening now. And once you get to this point, you can start to mess around with it in any way that you see fit, kind of create different effects for it. I can see that I missed a spot, but I may or may not go back and clean that up later. But there you have it, a 15-minute logo start to finish, no planning whatsoever, and it's looking pretty good. So imagine, if you will, what you could do with a little bit more thought beforehand and a little bit more strategic placement of things. This was done completely off the cuff, right off the top of my head. So be sure to grab a copy of the new font from my Bandcamp page, where you could find all sorts of resources like pre-made designs, fonts, and actions. Thanks.